So just a few minutes ago, I filmed the BDSM Bubble Praise Talk video. And then now I'm going to do the degrading dirty talk video, right? The other side of of dirty talk, right? So there's praise, which is like giving compliments and stuff, right? Complimenting her beauty or how sexy she is, or giving approval to like how she's such a good girl, or like she's doing such a good job sucking your dick, blah blah blah. This one's gonna be about fucking insulting her, right? But girls are super into it. And I've already gone into like the preface of why girls are into dirty talk or like BDSM in general in that video. And then if you want an even more big of a primer on like being a responsible dom, then I suggest you check out the first video in this series that I made like fucking, I don't even know, 3 years ago or something. And or probably longer. And it's about, I go into, consent. I go into some other topics, but, it's worth checking out if you're going to watch this video and go, well, he's not covering this. And, well, he didn't. Fuck you. Like, go watch that video, right? I've already explained myself enough. So we're just going to get straight to how to start fucking degrading the girl that you love in bed. So with praise, you can kind of do it anytime and then just see how she reacts. With insult and degradation, I probably wouldn't be doing it with a girl that you just started hooking up with. I mean, you can. It depends on the vibe. Like, if you just can tell she's, being super submissive and just letting you, like, fuck her like a piece of meat, then, you can turn. I mean, I've called girls dirty sluts the first time I fucked them, man. You just gotta kind of feel it out. If you don't have those observational skills to figure it out, I would probably err on the side of safety and not do it with a girl that I just started fucking. I would wait till you started dating her a little bit. But, degrading sex talk can be really, really big turn on. And I suggest you actually kind of mix praising and degradation. It's a really good mix because it can give you like, the positive and the negative. Right, because when you're fucking a girl like a whore, like I said, when you're being very passionate, like I explained in the previous video, it's making her feel so desired. Even if you're doing something like insulting her, like the fact that you're fucking her and she can feel your passion, there's just this like raw truth that you want her, right? And maybe she does she wants to feel like you're not saying like she's a shitty person and she's accomplished nothing in life, right? You're not like insulting her fucking character or soul, right? What we're insulting her, what we're degrading is a more important word, because insulting is just like I'm telling you why you suck. Degradation is I'm reducing you to something, right? I'm lowering you. Well, part of submissive sex for a girl is she is being objectified, and she's wanting to be objectified when she's in that space, when she's in what I call, what is called subspace, right? And so for her to feel completely like an object, or as close to it as possible, while of course still being a human being, and you're making sure she's okay, she's able to kind of let go to a certain extent, like not worry about, X or Y, or having to, like, she can fully just give into her sex drive, right? And just completely let go in that moment. And that can be a very vulnerable space. That's why when you have things like subspace, which is basically when she like fully is like submissive, she's completely giving into the dominant and submissive role play. Which can happen on very extreme levels when you're doing, certain role plays, or certain like really fucking rough sex, right? You're just like pounding into her, ripping her apart, spitting on her, slapping her around, stuff we've gone over in other videos. But afterwards, she kind of comes back, right? Like she's degraded, she's turned into an object, and then kind of comes back to being a being. And then she's like, holy shit, like, she can feel a lot of shame. Right, so that's why when you do stuff like that, there's a period afterwards that's very important called aftercare, right? And so you want to make sure you're like reassuring her, like, oh, you know, everything's okay. See, I mean, she's not like she's sitting there crying or like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. Like, if that's her reaction to it, then maybe you shouldn't be doing that kind of shit with her. She's not emotionally ready. But, you know, she can kind of just feel a little bit vulnerable or just a little bit guilty or ashamed that she, you know, acted so slutty, right? And, you know, you just cuddle with her and let her know that you actually care about her beyond sex, right? It's very important. And if you don't do it, it can really hurt your relationship with a girl. So if you do get into this degrading shit, like, make sure you know, cuddle with her afterwards at least, and, you know, are kind of sweet to her. But then I also advise that you do a mix of degradation and praising, right? But we're degrading her, not necessarily insulting her, like I said, right? We're not calling her a worthless piece of shit who's never accomplished anything in her life. We're just going to be basically telling her that she's a sex object, right? And so all of our insults are going to be centered around her being a slut, right? And there's different levels, right, to this, right? You just have the, like, stock phrase, like, slut. It's probably actually the safest, like, there's levels to this, right? There's levels of degradation, right? So at the top is just like, yeah, take that dick, you little slut, right? Oh yeah, and then of course, like with the praising video, we're gonna go over like tonality, right? There's gonna be rough tonality, soft tonality, and then kind of mocking tone that I've talked about, which is kind of a mix. And then there's gonna be, you know, additional things you're doing, like kissing her, stroking her, you know, fucking her harder or softer depending on like what you're doing. And let's see. Yeah, so let's just go to like the levels of like the words you're gonna be using. So there's slut, right? Again, stock phrase, pretty easy, right? That's the tip of the iceberg. And then there's whore. Whore just is a stronger word, right? It just has more like kick to it. And then you start getting into interesting territory, right? Like cum dumpster. And then there's this one fucking phrase. It's actually from I've never heard this shit before. But I've used it now. It's from Adam Smasher, a fucking psychopath. And so funny, I opened up YouTube and one of the suggested videos is psychopath question mark. And I'm about to look up Adam Smasher, who is a fucking psychopath. I think it's and he calls it, it's in the beginning of the game where he walks into the here, let me see if I can put it on. You look like a cut of fuckable meat. Jesus Christ. Fuckable meat. So I don't know if you could hear that, but yeah, you're replaying a video of some chick, and she walks through an elevator, and Adam Smasher, this guy, right? So he, yeah, he calls her like, you know, fuckable meat, right? That's like some really like, that's some fucking degrading language, and he's just like ripping into a girl he just randomly walks across, right? So like pure psychopathy, like zero empathy, no compassion, like fucking off the cuff. Hey, I saw this woman and she's a piece of meat. Like that's some next level shit, right? But you could pull it out, right? And it could be really hot. But yeah, you can call a girl, like you can call her fuck meat, right? Or just say like, oh, you're such a good little piece of meat for me to fuck, like, and then this is where it gets interesting. God, I wonder if people are gonna think about me. I'm pretty creative, right? So, you know, again, you have to adjust it to who you are, right? So with me, like, you know, I tend to, you know, enjoy fucking white girls a lot, and I'm Latino, so, you know, when my caramel is just like pumping in and out of her, right, I'll say shit like, oh yeah, you're such a good little white slut, you know, girls like you were born to get fucked by big brown cock like this, like just like Jesus Christ, bro, right? And I'm just like, but this is the kind of shit I'm into, right? And it's like, it's really a big turn on for me, right? And, you know, Or like she'll be, you can get really creative. Like let's say like you're fucking her missionary, right? You can like grab the back of her. And again, when you're doing physical stuff, you definitely want to be a lot more careful. Verbal stuff, I mean, you still want to be careful. You don't want to insult someone. But physical stuff, like, you know, you need to pay attention. But like, let's say you grab like the back of her hair as you're like fucking her missionary, and you like lift her head up and make her stare at your cock. Be like, yeah, you see that fucking big brown cock coming out of you, you little fucking, you know, white slut, little bitch, you know. And she's like, and you can even like tell her, be like, say yes, daddy, I see it. Yes, daddy, I see it. And be like, you love that shit, don't you? Yeah, tell me you love it. Oh, I love that big brown guy. Like, you can get her role playing into it, right? Getting her to play it back for you, basically, right? And you can do it with the praising too, right? You mix the praise with the degradation, right? So you'd be like, oh, you're such a good little slut. Like, you say it in like a soft tone, which I'll get into in a second, right? Be like, oh, you're such a good little slut for daddy, aren't you? And she'd be like, mm-hmm. And be like, yeah, you love that dick? Yeah, I do. Tell Poppy how much you love it. Oh, I love it so much. Well, you know, getting really into it. So have her play a part in it. But yeah, and you can like let rip some pretty fucking disgusting things, right? If you're not into that shit, that's fine, right? I'm into that like really extreme degradation. But not everyone is. So, you know, take it to the level that you're comfortable with and the level she's comfortable with, right? And sometimes it takes time, right? You got to warm girls up either in the session or in general. But then once, you know, she's kind of, you know, it becomes a normal thing, then it's just a normal thing, right? And she's like, oh yeah, my boyfriend or my husband's calling me a fuck meat, but it's okay, right? So those are the words, and then you have the tonality, right? So you have the rough language, be like, yeah, you little fucking slut, right? Just like very like you're fucking insulting her, right? And you gotta sell that shit. You gotta say it with your chest, because with the praising stuff, it's just kind of cute, right? But when you're insulting a girl, like, you really gotta fucking let it go, right? And so if you're gonna go the rough route, you gotta fucking like zero hesitation. Be like, yeah, take that fucking dick, you good little bitch. Yeah, that's right, take it. Oh yeah, take daddy's big hard cock. Like, you gotta fucking just say it, right? When it's, you can also do like softer language, right? So you're like insulting someone but saying it very softly, like, oh, you're such a good little fuckable piece of meat. Look at you. Yeah, you were just born to get used. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, take that, you know, my little fleshlight. You know, you say it with a soft tone, but you're insulting shit out of her, right? Or the mocking tone, which is arguably like the worst, right? Like, oh, you're so cute. Look at you when you fucking suck that dick. You're such a good little dick sucking whore. Yeah, suck that dick, you dumb little bitch. Yeah, and then you can add in a lot of shit, right? You can like spit on her face while you're doing it. You can slap her. You know, it depends on what level you both are okay with going, and, you know, of course, you know, what you're willing to do yourself, right? But, you know, like, you know, let's say you're fucking her really hard, and you're like, open your mouth, you dumb bitch, and she's like, what's her mouth? And you just fucking spit in it, and you're like, yeah, you're my fucking property. it's fucking, I love that. I'm into that shit, bro. And I know a lot of girls are into it. A lot more girls than you would think, right? You maybe watch this video and you're like, not all girls. I'm gonna be like, I don't know, fucking, if you give me 10 girls in a room, I'm gonna guess 9, and the 10th one just hasn't found a guy who she's willing to do with it yet. So I don't know who knows more, me or you. So that's the tonality, and then you have like the behaviors while you're doing it, right? So you have, like I said, you could add in like, I'm spitting on her, I'm slapping her around, or, you know, like, as you do it, do something else that's rough. But you can also create a contrast, like I kind of talked about in the last video, right? So you can add in like kissies, right? So like, let's say you're like driving into her, and then, you know, you just give her some kisses. Oh, you're such a cute little dumb slut. Yeah, take that fucking dick. Yeah, it's all you know how to do. Yeah, it's all you're fucking good for, it, right? And you're really, really sweet, and then but fucking her really hard and saying something really rough. Like, it creates this contrast, right? Or you can do it like when you're going super soft, right? Let's say you're kind of starting off, and you're just getting into it, and you're kissing her, and then you can like whisper in her ear and be like, I can't wait to fuck you so hard. I can't wait to use you like my own little fuck toy, right? you're creating, you're foreshadowing the objectification. You're foreshadowing the degradation, right? Fuck her harder or softer. Yeah. So like create a contrast, right? You can be fucking her really hard and praising her, or you could be fucking her really soft and insulting her, right? Or you can just be going all out, right? You're just like, you're grabbing her hair as you're pushing her face into the fucking pillows. You're just like pounding her cervix, and she's and you're just like, yeah, take that fucking dick, you dumb bitch. Just fucking going in on her, right? And then you just start like listing everything she does wrong. You're a fucking failure. Your parents don't love you. You're like I said, none of these insults are going into the realm of like genuine insults, right? We're not trying to hurt people's feelings. We're trying to make her feel like a whore, because that's kind of like the epitome of what she wants to feel like. She wants to feel like a slut. She wants to feel like she is an object of pure lust who is desired, right? It makes her feel desired, right? Just like when we are fully in dominant sexuality, right? We want to feel like she like respects us in a way so much that she is allowing herself to be used for our pleasure. Like that is the height of like masculine and feminine sexuality, is she's being used for pleasure, and thereby is like an object of beauty that's worth being used. It's worth exuding so much passion for. And then the opposite end, for the man, he is so worthy and respectable that she is willing to submit completely to him. And that's what makes him feel sexy, right? That is the epitome of like the masculine and feminine and dominant and submissive sexual dichotomy, right? Now, people who have certain ideological ideas, whether it's feminism or this or that, they're going to be resistant to this. They're going to say, well, it's a societal construct, which isn't actually a criticism. Saying something is a societal construct doesn't mean it wrong. It just means that it was created through language, but it doesn't make it necessarily wrong. It could still be a reflection of a truth, right? But, the people who come at these ideas are not smart, right? There's a reason why they use stock phrases instead of actually working things from the ground up. But anyways, that's a complete other discussion. I can just tell you in practice, you will never see a woman more turned on, wet, orgasmic, and so desiring of you when you are fully locked in with this dominant energy. And you can do it with praising, with degrading. These are just different angles you can take. But at the end of the day, it's being dominant, right? And she's being submissive. And if you haven't yet experienced it, and once you do, you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is like strong stuff. And it needs to be, and it needs to be understood that it is very strong. I mean, you can have a really strong effect on a woman. So make sure that like in general, like not just in the bedroom, of course, like caring about her, making sure she's okay, keeping, you can always like break in between like, a session. You can like take a time out and be like, hey, is everything okay? Are you doing okay? Like after you like smashing shit out of her, like maybe take like a second break when there's like a dip in the energy, like you're going really hard and then can you kind of slow down and you're about to go again, be like, hey, you doing okay? You're like, yeah, I'm good. Okay, cool. Like it's just nice to check in with people, especially when you're doing this rougher shit. But then also in a general macro sense, like at the end of the day, we love women, right? Now that might seem cheeky or rich coming from someone who's talking about objectifying women, but like this is a context. I can compartmentalize these things, right? They aren't just like, it isn't just this carte blanche, fucking like, yeah, women are objects. Like no, like within this specific context, it's actually what she wants. Like the idealized submissive feminine sexuality is being an object, and the idealized masculine sexuality is to be the user of that object, the subject. But we still care about women, and we want them to, whether it's for one night or, we know them for years or a lifetime. Like we want to leave her better than we found her, right? When we leave her life, we improved it, right? So when you are starting to become a lover who like really like affects women, like she's gonna remember that sex for a long time, because a lot of guys don't know how to fuck like this, right? A lot of guys aren't willing to explore this side of themselves, or even if they are, they're kind of lame about it. I don't know if you've met people in BDSM communities. They're fucking weird. They're just like fucking kind of goofy about it. They're kind of cringe about it. They're just not generally sexy, like just in general. They just like have this one aspect really down, which I guess is kudos to them. But like, if you're actually an attractive guy, who's really cool, can build connections with girls, but then also fuck them like this, like you're gonna have an impact on her life. You're gonna leave an imprint, and it's good that you make sure, knowing that you have this power, you also acknowledge the responsibility that comes with it, right? So this means, making sure she's comfortable afterwards, having aftercare to make sure she's cool. Go take her out for fucking breakfast, right? You just like tossed her around like a piece of meat and told her she was a cut of fuckable meat, as the great Adam Smasher would say. Never thought I'd quote Cyberpunk in a fucking video, but hey, here we are. Life is funny. We're living in a simulation, right, boys? And let me get this down. There we go. But the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, make sure you're leaving a good impression, and just be compassionate in general, and just care about girls, because when you do start to become this lover, I mean, girls are going to remember you, and you want to have improved not only her life, like whether it's like, I don't know, you were in a conversation with her and you gave her some advice or some motivation, or you just were an ear to listen to her, or for someone to for someone to listen to her, or you end up dating her and have a relationship. Like, you want to be an improvement to her life, or at least a good representation of men. And like I said, people don't understand this. They see all this like objectification, which in this context it is, but like, and then they just like apply it to the rest of the relationship and seduction, and they think like we're doing something wrong here. But really what we're just doing is we're adapting to reality. This is what generally women want, and then we're becoming what they want, so that we can also get what we want in return, right? But at the end of the day, we're still just like humans interacting with each other and caring about each other and want to improve each other's lives. Right, so if you have that compassion behind a lot of your actions, not only is that just going to benefit people, ironically, well, not really ironically, but I guess to a lot of people who don't understand this, you're actually going to be an even better seducer. You're going to become a more attractive person, because when you do have virtue behind what you do, and genuine compassion, people can feel it. People can definitely fucking feel the difference between someone who actually cares about them and someone who's kind of just putting on an act. And whether they have the self-esteem to to acknowledge that they are worth, love or whatever, that's another story altogether. But like, people can definitely feel when you genuinely care and sincerely care about, improving their life. So I know this seems like a weird tangent from, calling girls fuckable cuts of meat, but like, it has its place. This like very extreme level of sexuality, but the place that it has on it is this spectrum of, what I call love, lust, and trust. I guess you can call it a triangle of attraction, right? So what we're talking about here kind of falls under lust, right? Creating this like very extreme male-female dichotomy. But then on the other end of love and of trust, these things don't have much to do with you being a woman, or you being a woman, her being a woman and you being a man. It just has to do with two people, right? But most guys struggle with the lust part of the triad, right? So that's what we so heavily focus on. A lot of guys are actually pretty good at like the trust aspect, like guys who get friend zoned, right? But then really, can you be trusted because you're, pretending to be her friend when you really want to fuck her, which is maybe part of the reason why she won't fuck you, because she really deep down can't trust you because you're not trustable because of your deceitful behaviors, right? But I mean like guys who are just genuinely nice guys, but women just don't want to suck their dick, right? You have a decent time actually creating love and trust, but you're not great at putting the whole triad in unison. But I just wanted to kind of go on that little side tangent because we were discussing something so heavily on lust, and I want to make sure that we're not only, pulled in that direction, because then the triangle isn't, completed, right? There is that aspect of love, connection, and then there's this aspect of trust. And it's kind of like a glue that keeps love and trust purified in a way. This is something I've been working on for a long time, and I'm developing as a philosophy. I'm clarifying as a philosophy because I understand it. I'm just kind of trying to clarify it so people can understand it in plain English. But anyways, I've already gone on long enough. If you're interested in coaching, sign up for a consultation with the link below. If you want to buy my other shit, I have a day game course called Meet Girls Everywhere. It's in the description below. It teaches you how to meet girls everywhere, literally, fucking duh. It's in the name. And then I have a texting book because most of you suck dick at texting, so definitely go buy it. And yeah, anyways, good talking to you guys. Love you. Go fuck yourself, you dirty little slut. You fucking fuckable cuts of meat. I'll see you soon.